everyone, and welcome to the Jeff Bullis Show. Today I have with me Donna Griffit. Now, Donna is a corporate storyteller. What's a corporate storyteller? I'm going to find out. Who has worked globally for over 18 years with Fortune 500 companies and startups. She has consulted and trained clients in over 30 countries, and I have heard a rumor that she has been instrumental in raising over $1 billion for startups.
Actually, it's two now, but with $1 billion a month. Probably.
Okay. In other words, it's a big number, so that's great. That's what the book told me, by the way, Donna. So maybe you need to update the book. Yeah.
There you go.
She has consulted and trained clients in over 30 countries. Through her guidance, clients have raised over $2 billion. Let's change that. In addition, Donna can magically spin raw data into compelling stories that captivate audiences and drive results. Donna's recently released her much anticipated book, Sticking to My Story, which I bought and started reading. I haven't finished it, to be truthful, because it's not fake news here on this particular podcast. It's called The Alchemy of Storytelling for Startups, which is launched in January 2023. This book has quickly become a must-read for startup founders, and Tim Draper, who wrote her intro, said, "Well, finally, there are no more excuses. Sticking to My Story is the new Bible for startup founders." That's a big call. In other words, you're close to Jesus there on that level. So it's the A to Z recipe how to create a powerful pitch deck with all the right ingredients. It's filled with helpful tips and stories of what worked and what failed abysmally, peppered with insightful quotes from her colleagues in Silicon Valley, where she lives. So welcome to the show, Donna. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I'm looking forward to a good story.
Pleasure to be here. Stories are the spice of life. So I love hearing them. I love telling them. I love helping other people tell them as well.
So let me ask you the story of how you got into storytelling and then into how you evolved into doing that and helping startups tell their story to attract funding. So where did this all start? What was the call from the ordinary to the extraordinary of what you're doing today? When did it all start? And was there an inspiration? Was there an aha moment?
Well, the aha moments, I call them, serendipity moments, or, those moments where you hear the choirs going, hallelujah. It's like, wait, this is a pivotal moment. So it's funny how the road kind of takes you on these different twists and turns. And we were just chatting before we started recording. I'm one of those weird 16-year-olds that discovered what she thought she wanted to do with her life at 16 and worked towards it. I had discovered that there was a program at NYU for drama therapy, a master's degree. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that combines my two great passions, which was acting and working with people, into one. And everything I did from that point on was geared into getting into that program, what I studied in my undergrad, all of the extracurriculars. And then I got accepted to NYU and I went, and I realized that the salary of a drama therapist was basically that of a starving artist. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't give up being an actress to wait tables when I'm 30, to supplement my income. I'm like, there's got to be something else I can do with my skill set and with my talents. Serendipity moment again came. One was at 16 when I discovered drama therapy. Another one came when I was doing a postmaster's course. And one of my lecturers said that she had a friend that traveled the globe and gave workshops and inspired people. And I'm like, sign me up for that. Started investigating. Turned out that at NYU, there was another program in training and organizational development for postmasters. Signed up for that. Sent my resume to the first place that was hiring for trainers in presentation skills, business writing skills. And I got hired by the wonderful Brad Boyer Communications Group. And for years, I traveled the globe, getting to see different places, get to know people intimately through their presentations and their struggles and their strife and their uncertainty and their stage fright and their over-informing, and really get to help them break through those barriers. And then came 2008, which was kind of a not so great serendipity moment because everything shut down at once. The first thing that organizations will cancel is any non-essential travel or non-essential training, which I was, a burden of both on. And then it was like, okay, what now? Serendipity would have it that I was introduced to a cardiothoracic surgeon who also had two medical devices he had developed, and he needed help with his professional speeches, but also he showed me the mock-ups of his two medical devices. And he said, I'm invited to speak at this angel conference in New York. I have 5 minutes to present each company. Can you help me with that? Now, this was 2009. I had never worked with a startup before. And I was like, you know what? I've never worked with a startup, but hey, a story is a story, right? And we went to work working on these 2 5-minute pitches, poured heart, soul, hours, blood, sweat, tears. I ended up going with him, presenting on his behalf. He was in the room. And then the other companies got up to present. And my heart just broke for them because they were so bad. I mean, so bad. Like they were getting shot down before they even got through their 5-minute pitch. And I was just sitting there like holding my head like, oh my gosh, why would they not work with someone like me beforehand? You have this opportunity, 80-something angel investors sitting in a room. And then I said, wait. What do you mean someone like me? Maybe there's nobody working with startups on storytelling. Storytelling was very nascent. Nobody was yet really calling it, except, Nancy Duarte, who's one of my idols. I love her. And she just has been like the storytelling matriarch. And so I started investigating. Nobody owned the storytelling space in startups. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And then come the voices of dissent, like, no one's going to pay you. Startups don't, have money. They're no. I was like, luckily, I don't really listen to those voices too much. And I said, thank you for your concern. I'll get back to you on this. And lo and behold, here we are 10 years. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's more than 10 years. Good God. This was 2009.
15
years down the road. And I've worked with over 1,000 VCs, startups, accelerators, and Silicon Valley giants like Meta and Google in pretty much any industry you can imagine. And then a few that would probably blow your mind, because there's always the wild and wacky ones out there. And I've helped, like you said, raise over $2 billion. And I get to do the most fun thing every single day. I wake up and I help people show their brilliance. Someone once called me the polisher of diamonds. I take that very seriously because I do work with these diamonds and sometimes they're very rough around the edges. So I have to help shine them and really polish their facets so that the world can see their brilliance and their potential. So those are some serendipitous moments that led us to a few more, like the book and like my next step, which I will tell you that.
Okay, so let's just cut straight to the chase, or the pitch deck. So what's your process and of helping people develop a pitch deck? Because you've got to find out their story. How much do you do? How much do they do? And then second question after that is, what does a great pitch deck look like? So how do you work with people to actually go from some ideas, a draft, and we polish it and it becomes this beautiful presentation that makes people want to throw money at them?
So first of all, how much do I do? How much do they do? So they get a cheat sheet and a template from me that helps them organize their data. It's like going to Whole Foods with a grocery list and buying me premium ingredients so that I can cook for them.
Okay.
I can see my book as a cookbook. So anybody that wants to cook it themselves, my full array of recipes are in here, and people will write me from all over the world. Thank you for writing this book. Oh my gosh, I wrote it and I got funded, or I won a competition, and I could not be happier. But then there are those that want to come to the chef's table and have her cook with them, for them. And that's exactly what happens in the session. So they bring me their content, they arrange it in a way that's contained, that's culled down. It doesn't, like, not everything. And it helps me to review it. Now, I always suspected that I had an AI component in my brain to do what I do. But when OpenAI came out, I actually realized that what I have is an LLM, a large language model.
A lot of data.
And trained on a massive data set for the past 20 years. So my brain is capable of both ingesting real-time data and spinning it into stories, but also making references to other companies that I've seen in other industries, and like, oh, there's this stat and there's that stat, and like connecting the dots, which is exactly what happens in the session. So I review their material ahead of time. So this morning I had a session, and before the session, I was doing the dishes and straightening up, and my brain was already doing its magic. And I was like, she started from the wrong problem. She started from the wrong pain. She like, and we completely like leapt to like slide 5, brought that front and center, and then moved things around and added some things that I went to ChatGPT and I said, bring me some stats on X, Y, and Z, and bring me real sources. Like, you have to really be very, very careful with your prompts and in real time. And then I kept saying more please, until I had enough. And then we went and we vetted the sources to find the stats that we needed to tell that story on the spot. And that's where, you know, AI is really going to come in handy for that. AI doesn't do my writing, but it does my research on the spot. And I ensure then that the stats, you have to make sure, because it does hallucinate sometimes. And yeah, so then it's a collaborative process. I came to her and I said, listen, this was my thought. There's 3 different narratives that we could do here. One is this. It's like a choose your own adventure. Remember those books where you would like, if you want to go to the cave, turn to page 27. If you want to go to the school, turn to page 2. If you want to go to the river, turn to page 40. And I said, okay, so there's this narrative, or this narrative. And I kind of gut feeling wise felt that it was the last one. And she agreed. And then we set out on that journey. And I started writing, and she saw it. And then she was like, not exactly. I said, what's missing? And then we adjusted. That's much better. Okay. And she saw it all happening in real time. This is happening in 2 hours. And we emerged after 2 hours with a completely deconstructed and reconstructed deck that was so much more powerful, that drew her a much bigger picture, bigger market, powerful technology that's really serving what investors want to see, which are huge markets with massive potential for revenue and exit. And that's how it works. That's the magic, the alchemy.
Yeah, I love the fact that you think of yourself as a large language model. In other words, you're collecting all the data, the information, and then you're trying to make sense of it. In other words, you are taking, then you distill something that could be complicated and technical, and also making it simple, aren't you, as well?
Absolutely. It's not just simplifying it. It's bringing it to the audience in the most optimal form for them.
Yes.
So if we're writing for investors, I'm thinking like an investor. If we're writing for potential customers or potential users, I'm thinking like them, which and you know, customers might be a B2B to C. So end users, it completely changes the conversation. So it's all about who you're actually writing towards, which will inform the message that comes out. Now, a lot of what we write, what we wrote today, she can take and plug into a sales deck.
Right.
But the whole opening is going to be a bit different than that, because you're not teaching your clients what their pain is. You're just empathizing with them and showing them how it is so important, how we get your pain, and how important it is to do something about it by using our solution.
Right. So in terms of storytelling, there's one school of thought is that if you're doing a presentation, almost to anyone, is to tell a story and then make a point. In other words, the power comes from the emotion, because I do remember once people saying to me, and I looked at other people's presentations and going, they've got like just data everywhere, graphs everywhere, they're small. In other words, it's about information. It's not about inspiration.
I like that. Yeah. And you don't want to over-inform. And unfortunately, I mean, one of the gifts, quote unquote, of startup founders is that they are so in love with their product that they could talk about it from here to kingdom come. And it sometimes reminds me of like when I had my first daughter, people would be like, oh, can I see a picture of the baby? And I'd show them 80 pictures, like scrolling through my phone. And at some point you realize, oh, wow, their eyes have probably glazed over about 70 pictures ago, you could have shown them 5 pictures and gotten just as much adulation. So you need to know how much to tell. Just enough to get them excited, make them want to ask questions, make them want another meeting, make them want to dive deeper. But if you're sending something out that you want them to read, you have to make sure that it's not overwhelming, because the minute we see a slide that's totally crowded with data and Excels and these weird graphs and charts and everything, it's like, dude, I don't want to look at this. Why are you punishing me? I'm throwing this away and moving on to the next deck that I got in my inbox.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the challenge is really, like, especially in a technology world full of a lot of data, is trying to get the data that matters in front of people. And how much in part of your book you cover, the visual part of the storytelling? In other words, what sort of images do you use? Do you use graphs? You talk about infographics. How much visuals do you use in a presentation, and how much more is about, the person actually telling the story in the simplest way that makes the most sense in the context of the audience they're presenting to? So
Okay.
how do you
Yeah.
use visuals? I'd be interested in how you do that.
Right. Well, first of all, visuals are not there to decorate. I don't need all kinds of dots and squiggles and abstract art in the background, because anything that's on a slide, my eyes are going to try and interpret into, like, what are they trying to say with this message? And if it doesn't, then it's like, why is it even there? So while you want something to look very aesthetic, you want to keep it very clean and neat, and let any visual there tell another layer of the story. So whether it's an image that connotes the bottom line, the big idea of the slide, or whether it's a graph, or whether it's a chart, or whatever it might be, it has to inform us on another layer. So our brain, we take in information through 3 channels: our visual, our auditory, and our kinesthetic. So when we read, it's not our visual piece of the brain that's actually being activated, it's our auditory, because we're not just looking at the text, we're decoding it. And you and I have English, you might have another language, I'm sure listeners have many other languages, but the minute we see a language that we don't read, it stops at the visual level because we have no decoding, so we see something visual. But if we're trying both to let them listen to us and let them read, something's going to give. Like, if you have a ton of text up there, they're not listening to you, they're reading the text. So don't that. Now, if you add on top of the reading and the listening a visual that powerfully encapsulates it, either with a bit of humor, with a bit of emotion, with a bit of cleverness, then they're like, whoa, get it on different levels.
Yeah.
And then if you have something kinesthetic, if you have an actual physical thing, I always say, he has food or anything that is a physical thing, bring it. Let them touch it, let them try it, let them interact with it. So that's on the kinesthetic level. Not everybody has it, especially in software. It's more ethereal than that. So you want visuals to really, truly inform. Now, you asked before what a good pitch deck should look like. It should not look crowded. It should look neat, aesthetic, clean, but also visuals that inform, not something that looks like a second grader did on PowerPoint. Second graders today can probably use PowerPoint or Canva a lot better than most founders can, because we're still stuck in the Microsoft 97 days.
Yeah.
All the Clippy, remember Clippy, the little clip, and all the stick figures, not gonna wash. All these, so keep it very authentic and very, nothing comic-y and cutesy.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of animations. Good God, those are horrible. I'm like, why do you think that this is neat? Like, why do you think that this is impressive?
Yeah.
Text flying in. No.
Because it was really popular for a while back there to actually have I suppose, an animated presentation of what you do. Is that useful still or not?
Well, it depends on what you're showing. If you're showing a demo and you're building the demo, absolutely, but not every slide kind of sliding in with some kind of twist and a explosion and a melting and all the effects that you can have from Keynote or from just don't do that. What you can use PowerPoint for nowadays is there's a button called Designer, and it's an AI designer. So you basically can just write your deck in plain text and then get visual suggestions for it. And it automatically cleans up the look and feel of it. And it can totally give you a theme. And that's a good use of AI and design and the software. I'm waiting for, I know that Google Slides is, which is my go-to for creation, is adding things slowly with AI, but in terms of having it instantly designed, it's extremely helpful to get it there. I personally have 3 designers that I send my clients to who are phenomenal.
Yep.
And they're able to take what I write and bring it into life as if they could see inside my brain.
Mm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was my next question. I was going to ask you in terms of what involvement do you have in actually putting the presentation together. So you basically outsource that, and they understand what you're doing because you've been working with them, obviously.
So I create the bones and the flesh of the presentation, and they create the skin. I don't have a talent, and when it comes to design or aesthetics, I know what I'd like to see. So they leave the 2 hours with me with a fully fleshed out presentation with the script and with everything. They could literally get on the phone, not show their deck, and go through it and feel like they've given the best presentation of their life. However, you got to have it look good. So, I mean, I don't outsource it. I connect them to designers that I know and trust. They can use their own. I'm more than happy to take a look and give some notes. I also write visual notes as to what I would like to see, so they kind of have a direction. And so yeah, that's my involvement in that.
Okay. So you obviously get a very good pitch deck done or presentation done. But then after that, there's the iterations, isn't there? Because you talk about it in your book about iterations. So for me, I remember meeting Melanie Perkins for the first time, one of the founders of Canva. And she told me the story that she had done, I think, 45 iterations of a pitch deck before she hit pay dirt. So, and today they're a $40 billion company based out of Sydney. So, and they got a little secret, by the way. They got, I think, a year or 2 in, they got made an offer by Adobe to buy them, and they said no. So, right call.
Smart, very smart.
Yeah.
I don't know if Figma made the right call or who called off that deal, but yeah, very smart because they've grown into an empire. So yeah, so oftentimes companies will come to me saying, I've got 37 different versions. I've been working on this for 400 hours. I can't even look at it anymore. Can you help?
Yeah.
And here's the problem. They'll write an iteration, they'll not be happy with it, they'll go back to the drawing board. Then they'll be like happy, they go talk to some, 2-bit investor or advisor who says it's all wrong. I just got off a conversation with someone who was asking if I knew someone in Google Cloud because he was looking for cloud credits, and he's creating a product, and he doesn't want to go the funding route. He wants to build a business. And he said, I had a really bad experience with someone funding. Someone reached out and offered to meet me, claiming she's a investor. And when she heard what I was doing, she said, you lack charisma, you lack good business idea. Nobody's ever going to invest in you. Do yourself a favor and just build this on your own. It's like, what utter gall to say something like, first of all, it's not true. I know this person and he's just a wonderful person. And he's got a great idea. Like, but why would you kill someone's spirit from the beginning? Like, who the heck are you? And she's not really an investor, and she's not really a entrepreneur as she claims to be. So I think people have a lot. But you hear from people, and then they tear your deck apart. And you go back, you put it back together, and then you show it again, and somebody says the opposite. And you put it, and what you end up with is a patchwork pitch.
Dog's breakfast.
Pulled together, all these different things, and you've completely lost the core.
Mm.
You've lost your center.
Mm.
So for me, it's coming back to the basics, stripping away all of this patchworkiness and getting back to the core story and building it and rebuilding it. And a lot of times in a session, people will say, you know what, I used to pitch that way at the beginning, and then I changed it. I'm like, your instincts were right.
Mm.
Sometimes people just steer you in the wrong way. So it's getting back sometimes to that basics of the story and it's piecing it together. Sometimes I feel it's like a puzzle.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, should this piece go here? Oh, actually, it fits better there. Ah, and then all the other pieces kind of fall into place.
Yeah. So it's constant polishing, really, isn't it? And sometimes you go down the wrong path and you've got to come back and start again almost because you've ended up at Y and you wanted to be at Z. So in terms of your business, you mentioned that you've got a new level that you've gone to recently. Tell us more about that if you can.
So I mean, up until now, my main business is either training in organizations and accelerators and mainly working one-on-one with people on pitch decks. But serendipitous moment. So after I wrote the book and it came out, and I was asked, so what's next? And I said, I somehow feel like there's some kind of connection to academia.
Hmm.
Don't know quite how to explain it, but and we moved to Palo Alto a few years ago. It was closer to Stanford, and I kept getting asked to give workshops for Stanford groups and accelerators, and it kind of felt like there was some kind of chromatic connection there. And earlier this summer, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, I saw this job at the Stanford Graduate School of Business on the communication coaching team that I think you'd be perfect for. Someone who I don't even know very well. She saw a speech of mine a few years ago, which was lovely of her to think of me. Sent in my resume. I haven't actually applied for a job in a long time, but I have a resume just because sometimes different places will ask for it. Got called in, went through a rigorous interview and simulation process, and I just got word a couple weeks ago that I was hired. So it's a part-time gig, so I'll still be doing the work that I do with startups, but I will be a communications coach for the Stanford GSB MBA program and MSX program, which is the executive MBA that they do in like a year when they take sabbatical and they're fully immersed in it, which is really exciting because it feels to me like it's a completely new world, not only of academics, but these are people that already have real world business experience, and they're now coming back to get their master's degree or to get their MSX. And so I'm working with people that are in there and able to influence people as they're on their upwards trajectory, which is super exciting for me, bringing the gift of storytelling to life.
Mm. Well, I think the other upside to that, and I'm sure you know, is that it's a great networking opportunity to open
Yeah.
doors to many other
Or
businesses.
serendipity.
So
Absolutely.
let me ask you another question, and this is maybe you would face this almost every day. How do you scale you? Because you're doing a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Do you have a
I go
team to
with
help you?
with
Yeah.
my major scale. Any content that I have online is my scale, but I've tried in the past to train people to do what I do. Didn't quite work because people want to work with me. Um, Eventually, I mean, I've had different online courses that never were up to the speed that I wanted them to be. So the book was a scaling opportunity. I think that being at Stanford is going to be another scaling opportunity because I get to be one to many, and I hope to, give guest workshops there and work more with that. And I kind of feel like, all right, the next step after that, who knows? So I don't know if I can scale myself any more than I possibly can. But again, it's just working in different settings, influencing more people, bringing this gift of this amazing, powerful medium to
Yeah.
as many people as possible and letting them take it to their organizations.
Yeah. So one question I'm curious about is with the rise of generative AI, ChatGPT, the ability for it to help you create structure, in other words, make sense of noise out of your own data. Have you
Mhm.
experimented much with that? The thing of any, and also the next question after that is, um, can ChatGPT help you with storytelling? Can it enhance it? Can it just be a guide, a co-pilot? So number one question, firstly, is have you experimented with ChatGPT, generative AI and tools to help you take the initial noise and create rough drafts, for example? Have you used that?
So have I experimented? Absolutely. Like I said this morning, just in the session, I looked for stats. I think it's a great research tool. Whether you're researching stats for your startup or whether you're researching local restaurants, it's a great search tool. It's, I think, going to replace Google as our default search eventually.
Mm.
Do I use it to write? No, not yet. Because first of all, I feel like I'm cheating. People are paying me to work my GPT magic. But I feel like when I can recognize when somebody has given me something that's gone through ChatGPT. So I wrote a script for a demo video that one of my clients was doing, and I guess the animator wanted it shorter. So instead of saying, hey, can you shorten this down to 160 words, he put it through ChatGPT, completely changed it to something so generic, and so it was so annoying. I was so mad. I'm like, I know he put this through ChatGPT. Like, let's take the original, cut it down. There's a reason that I made it this way. So I think if you need something edited down, and the thing is, it also depends on your prompts. If I was going to edit something I wrote down, I would say, okay, please write this, make it 160 words, take it, shorten it down to 160 words, write it in the style of Donna Griffit, Corporate Storyteller. There's enough of my writing samples online that it knows the style. Make it so that it's upbeat or serious or whatever, like really get deep into the prompt, and then you're going to get much better results. And then after the first one, you could say, okay, can you now make it more blah, blah, blah. And then I'd go in and I play with it so that it becomes more mine. That is totally fine with. It's like having your own editor there. Now, the last chapter of my book, when you get to it, I don't want to spoil it for you. I wrote with ChatGPT. ChatGPT had just launched right after I handed in the first draft of my book. I first wrote the chapter with Jasper AI, which was the kind of popular tool at the time. And then after ChatGPT launched, I said to my publisher, I think I need to rewrite this with ChatGPT. I have a feeling this is going to be the big thing. And he's like, I have a feeling too. And I asked that exact question that you asked me, what's the future of storytelling? Will AI be able to storytell? And basically the answer that I got was, AI is great at helping, but humans are the ones that are the actual purveyors of knowledge and of creativity. And we don't know your idea for you. We can just, help you tell the story. So that kind of assuaged any fear I had of being taken over. I think we can look, and you were talking about that book, I think we can look at AI as either something to embrace, which is going to be great and really help us cut out a lot of the grunt work, or we can look at it as something that could potentially take our jobs. But what did you say that he said that jobs will be replaced by people using AI, right? Is that?
Yeah, don't worry about AI taking your job. You need to be concerned about the person using AI that will take your job.
So I utilize AI. So my voice, because I have an audiobook, is on 11 Labs. And I'm able to, so I took the script that I wrote and gave them a narration. It sounds like me one for one. I listened to it. I'm like, that is totally my voice. It's crazy. It's like insane. But having to go to a studio, book studio time, do a few takes, pay for the studio, send it to them, then have that would have taken time. Instead, I delivered them an amazing quality voiceover in, I think it took us about 3 minutes to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I know. The thing is, a lot of the grunt work that's backwards and forwards, and technology, we already have enhanced intelligence. It's like, for example, our smartphones are basically part of our brain now, in enhanced.
Soon they'll be embedded, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing I do see, I think AI is actually misnamed. I think the reality is that it is not artificial intelligence, because it is actually the capture of human intelligence just done by machines.
It's aggregate intelligence. I never thought of that. Aggregate intelligence, AI.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that.
So there's two
All of our magic and our knowledge as humans.
Yes. So there's two acronyms I think we should use, which one is, for me, is EI, enhanced intelligence, and the other one is augmented intelligence, but that still has the same acronym, so I don't think we should use that. But for me, I think AI is misnamed. It is not artificial intelligence, it is human intelligence, but curated and collected by machine. So in other words, it is human intelligence. It just allows us to think faster, bigger, and that's what I find exciting. It's a co-pilot and an assistant.
It's totally a co-pilot. And you know what it is? What you just made me realize, and I've never thought of it this way. So sometimes I look at my girls, I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm just in awe of how the combined genetics of myself and my husband have gone into these two magnificent creatures. And it's like the best of me and the best of him, and then whatever that synergy together brought out. And I'm thinking, that's really what AI is. It's like the marriage of all these brilliant minds out there that has learned and brought into this knowledge base. And still, yes, it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. We can't rely on it for building legal cases. But what it can do is it can help lawyers get the research done faster. They just have to verify it or check documents or whatever. So use it to free up the time for your creativity, for
Yep.
what you do that's unique to you.
Yep. Does your heavy lifting for you. And so now I have one other last question to wrap up. I know you've got to go and change the world in about 15, 20 minutes. So Yuval Harari, who's the author of *Sapien*, I saw him having a chat with Suleiman, and Suleiman is now the original co-founder of DeepMind, and he said, and Yuval's very worried about AI, and the fact is that the core of being human is our stories and storytelling. And I'd be interested in your thoughts on this, and also how you use storytelling. Because he's worried that AI will actually become a better storyteller and will steal our humanity by distilling the stories of humans. But that's one side of the story.
He also says that storytelling is one, and this in *Sapiens* is one of the only things that all religions and all ethnicities share across the board. It's really what makes us human.
Yes.
So how can a machine steal that from us?
Yeah.
If it's us, if it's the core of who we are. So I'm not too worried yet.
I'm not too worried yet. I think he's overplaying it, but that's my opinion at this.
I trust I'm not going to discount what he says. He's brilliant. But at the same time, I think if we are able to, first of all, maintain AI in a safe and ethical way, make sure that it's not China that achieves AGI first, that it's either in US, hopefully, so that we can make sure that this incredible power is in the right hands.
Yes.
But at the same time, harness the power of it to better our lives, to free up our time. Who wants to sit there doing hours of research when it can be brought to you, and then you can just verify the research, turn it into your own, cite the sources, and you do the creativity of piecing it together. It's like, it's similar, because I let my clients bring me the data. I don't go searching for the data. So in a way, they're my ChatGPT, but now ChatGPT will help them find that data better and faster.
Yeah. So
we Google.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the enhancing. In other words, it does the grunt work for us. In other words, when I saw Netscape browser back in 1995, I went, I'm not going to have to go to the library anymore.
But we still do for certain things. I was doing my thesis. I still went to the library. I mean, that was back in 2005, 3, but yeah, we still did go to the library back then. But my daughters go to the library to get books out. They don't read Kindle. They adore books. They devour books. They read them. And I don't see that going anywhere. We're trying to keep them off of screens for as long as humanly possible. There will be no phones. Until we must, because they're doing something on their own and we have to be in touch. But even when we were kids, did we have phones to keep in touch with our parents? No. Kind of trust it with the times have shifted. So
they have. Yeah, I have had a love of books and reading since I was 5. but I do read all my books now on a Kindle app on my iPad because I've got
So
1,000
many.
books in my library that I can take anywhere.
Which
Now,
is what Steve Jobs described the iPod as the first
yeah,
time, 1,000 songs in your pocket.
yeah,
It's the same thing. I used to have a wonderful CD collection, and I'd carry it around in this cute little case, which would hold like 20 CDs. And I'd take my Discman and I'd, listen and take it on trips or put it in the car. I don't have to do that anymore. It's on my phone. I don't even need an iPod. It's all on my phone. And I have unlimited access to it because I have a YouTube music subscription. I know I'm Gen X. Otherwise, I'd have Spotify. I know I'm old. But it gives us access. So it's not that it killed the business of entertainment. And I'm thinking very sadly of Susan Wojcicki, who just died. I know her personally. Our daughters were in preschool together, and she was 56 and way too young to go. But she revolutionized YouTube as a place for monetizing content and becoming one of the most profitable companies. And who would have thought, in the times of when people were downloading and stealing music and the whole Napster thing, that we could change the model so that they still would be making money. And now there's all these influencers and content creators who are making money as creators.
yes,
Who thought about that 5, 8 years ago?
no,
So there's evolution's coming. I don't even think that what my daughters are going to do when they grow up has even been invented yet.
no.
There might be some form of it, but I think that there's going to be new evolving, new ways of expressing ourselves, new ways of making money. I do think that there's going to have to be a universal a salary for everyone, to have like a base salary, because there's
UBI, universal basic income, is a possibility.
yeah. But yeah, anyway, we're kind of moved off of storytelling into the future, but yeah, so we did lots of interesting stuff. But I think, for storytelling, it is the most human, the biggest way to connect. People are riveted by stories. Stories connect between people. Stories enhance trust and influence and create a rapport.
Yep, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
and somebody said to me, oh, I can't, hang out with you. I feel like I'll be judged by what I say. I'm like, I just love hearing stories. I don't have my professional judgy filter on when I'm just talking to people. I love hearing their stories.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting quote, and I'm going to lead to finish to wind things up about how much storytelling should be involved. Is a great quote. I can't remember who did it, but it said, I'll forget what you told me, but I'll never forget how you made me feel.
Hi, Angelou. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So the reality of that is that this is where storytelling touches human emotion and is remembered. How much storytelling should you use in a pitch deck? Can you use too much? And one I'm really intrigued by is, how should you use storytelling to start your pitch deck, or should you?
So first of all, there's two elements to using storytelling in the deck. One is the structure, which I talk about in the book you'll read, and also in my template and cheat sheet. I call it the 4 acts of your startup pitch. So I take it from the world of ancient Greek classics and Shakespeare, when everything was written in acts.
Mm-hmm.
That was the archetype of Hollywood writing as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 8 different types of scripts that get written again and again and again and again, and it just
Yes.
changes the character, changes the twist, but the
Because they
archetype.
work. They work.
Exactly. And it's worked for thousands of years. Some people will say, oh, problem solution, because it's problem solution, the business and the vision for the future. And people are like, problem solution. I learned that in business school a million years ago. That's so old. I'm like, it's way older than that. It's 36,000 years old, but there's a reason it's sustained, because it works. Our brain's last hardware upgrade came 36,000 years ago with the prefrontal cortex, which is the largest part of our brain, and it's responsible for visual analysis, visual expression. And that's about the same time that the first cave painting was found. And it was the first time somebody recorded a story. They didn't even have a language yet, but they told the story of these water buffaloes attacking their tribe. So storytelling is an age-old art that has sustained for years. So it's arranging it in like those 4 acts, but then you can tell stories within it. It's not telling jokes and it's not telling icebreakers. It's telling how many stories have I related to you during this, like, oh, my client said this, or this morning. It's so much better than me just saying, here's what you should do, here's what you should do. We illustrate it through a story, and then we break down what's the lesson that can be taken from there. But what you're going to remember here are not the facts and the figures. You're going to remember the stories, if you remember any of them, and you'll remember how they made you feel. Or you'll remember of like, oh, that reminds me of a time I worked with a client that was saying that and that and the other, because it triggers other things, because our brain is always searching for reference. We have a little part of our brain called the insula, and it's always searching. Oh, that's the index. Where did I hear that? Where did I hear that? I know. And that's what creates connection between humans.
Exactly.
There you go.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I was curious about that, but can you use too many stories?
So you don't want to overload it with stories for the sake of telling stories.
Exactly.
Well, you want the structure to be there. You want to have just enough to illustrate it. Another use of the story will be in your user journey, your use case, your user story. You know, how are your users using your technology? And take them on a journey of implementation, a few cool features, and then the results. So they see, so they can imagine themselves using it. If you have a real client using it, phenomenal. If not, then you need to just give them an as if experience to it.
Right. Cool. So one last question, which I ask every guest, is that if you had all the money in the world, what would you do every day without getting paid?
I'd probably take equity in companies and still build their stories for them.
Okay.
I really do love it so much. I can't imagine myself not doing something. Maybe, you know, still giving workshops, definitely taking time to travel, but if I had to, you know, find like my day-to-day, it would always involve this.
Yep. So it sounds like to me that you've found your ikigai, which is
My ikigai, absolutely. I love that word, and I'm really fortunate to found it. And if your listeners don't know the ikigai, it's being right in the middle of what you love doing, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. Because that was what was missing for me in the drama therapy. It was not enough to sustain, and I wanted something that could sustain me. So I'm right smack in the middle of that ikigai, and I'm loving every moment.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best explanations of trying to find your purpose and
reason for being. Yep. Absolutely.
So for me, that's been, and you know, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs is actually part of the story, but I think Ikigai sums it up, which is a Japanese philosophy, by the way. So for those who don't know, and it's spelt just for everyone who's listening, it's Ikigai, I believe. So Ikigai, check it out.
Ikigai, but not spelled. Yeah, it's just it's so true, and I feel truly blessed that I am in that place of the ikigai. I really wouldn't have it any other way, and I want to wish all your listeners that you, in whatever you do, find the ikigai in it.
Yeah. Well, it took me, and the thing is, you know, some of us, you had the gift at 16 to actually find, some at the age of 4, you know, are going to be a violinist, and they knew that already. Some of us take a bit longer. It took me to being 50 plus to actually find my ikigai. And I love writing. I love sharing. I love writing stories. And I actually just happen to get paid for it. So
it's the best. Getting paid for something that you would secretly do for free.
Exactly.
But make sure you get paid for it.
Yeah.
Or get something for it. I'll do a lot of pro bono work, but I need to know that there's an upside there, either exposing me to more clients or working with a cause that I truly believe in, like amplifying women, or working with underprivileged founders, helping them build businesses. So it's got to have something in there that even if I'm not getting paid, I'm getting paid.
Yeah. Donna, thank you very much
for having me, Jeff. This was so fun.
Yeah, I get, you know, basically this is what I love doing too, is having fireside chats, conversations with smart people that share their gift with the world, and that's what you're doing. And thank you very much for sharing your stories and for sharing your expertise. And I look forward to hearing more in the back channel about how it's going at Stanford. So look forward to hearing
Absolutely.
more.
Follow me on LinkedIn. I'll be sure to post insights.
I'm sure I will. Okay. Thanks, Donna.
So much.
An absolute joy. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks.